In today's episode of But Does It Work on Real Hardware, we are testing 4 Sonic ROM hacks created by probably one of the greatest, smartest, charismatic ROM hackers on the planet. What? Coming back down to earth, it was me who brought this peculiar bunch to life with some help from other community members, which I will not name cause they'll be embarrassed otherwise. We will be reviewing my first design, RedHotSonic 2, made with a numerous amount of programs without ever picking the ROM apart, Sonic 2 Time Attack, a title you can put your speedrunning skills to the test and genuinely save your fastest times, Sonic 2 Recreation, my biggest project to date, which many of you have been requesting for quite a while now, and lastly, my personal favourite, Sonic Bash version 2, my only finalised and tidiest Sonic game I've ever accomplished. I have many Mega Drives, Genesis and EverDrives all at the ready, which will all be receiving a bit of game time off camera, but for my main driver, the Genesis Model 1 with the EverDrive X7 will be used. And what better way to start with RedHotSonic 2 version 0.90. And as you can clearly see, I kinda never finished this modification. Oh yeah, look at that pathetic title screen. Good job hiding the original Sonic 2 emblem there. And that in-your-face background and options. Did I leave this in colorblind mode? Yeah, I'm gonna be here all day if I continue to tear this poor excuse of a presentation apart. Yet it gets better when viewing the level graphics, and that's only because I had someone great fix them for me. I was always proud of my map designs and how all the routes worked out, but it was a shame that I was sloppy with ironing out all the kinks. Setting the terrible design aside, there's a level or two that corrupts most sprite graphics when loading. Everything still functions just as well, and from hereafter, the levels will retain these glitches until you reset the game, input level select, and continue from where you left off. Also, this game cannot be completed. Reverso, probably one of my favourite levels, crashes halfway through, in the exact same place all the time without fail. Only level select can bypass this. Another stage that can give you troubles midway through is Medieval Zone because the collision is, well, non-existent. Nonetheless, it is possible to pass. Unless you're Tails alone, the map just refuses to boot at all. No idea why. But otherwise, this escapade was able to proceed with the majority of what it had to offer. This game was made with various tools that changed the data within the ROM. No ideal disassembly was around at this time, so I'm quite surprised on how far RHS2 got on. However, it's time for that important question. Does RedHotSonic 2 work on real hardware? I think it's fair to rate this partially. Next up on the list is Sonic 2 Time Attack, and I feel like I put most of my technical prowess into this one. At first glance, it appears to be your regular Sonic 2 game with extra menus tagged on, such as viewing all of your saved times as normal or supersonic, in addition to altering gameplay options. As you may have guessed, the idea here is to complete the act of your choice as fast as you possibly can and set a personal best. You can then try to beat your time or make your mark on another stage. Replays are also possible to watch and even share via RAM dumping, but it's not consistent and often falls out of sync, whether emulated or on hardware. Once you've had all the levels noted, take a snapshot and why not share them in my Discord server? Here's mine that I set for this video. Can you beat these? I played Sonic 2 Time Attack a few times from start to finish, on different machines with diverse settings and altered the flash cart here and there. Almost everything ran efficiently, except for one huge oversight in the code for Supersonic over at Wing Fortress. You can still document your score if you don't evolve, but if at any point you turn supersonic, then no matter what, the game will halt at the end of the zone. I'll explain why in a moment, but brushing past that, everything is in working order. Checkpoints keep the time from where you died in a level, the kill me option will end your run if you flop to beat your previous record, all achievements stay embedded when powering off the system. It's a fun experience to be had. Just be prepared to become hooked on lowering your times. So we can proceed to the question, right? Well, there's an important takeaway that I must inform you on. You see, when this was in production, I mainly had in mind people would be using emulators to perform this on, and because of that fact, I implemented several cheat traps. Executing a load save state forced the game to crash. Wanting to edit Sonic's top speed in real time killed the game. Modifying a single byte of data in the SRAM, lock upon startup and erase all times. Stop deceiving people with fake runs! This is why Wing Fortress Zone seizes after being supersonic. Although you detransformed, it still believes you're super and hence it locks up. Even though it's not really the hardware at fault, it was a silly mistake on my behalf because I'm an idiot. Still, this inclusion helped with not only my peace of mind, but with everyone else's. And with many emulators, this really worked out great. On hardware, it's a lot tougher to cheat, yet the game endures to run smoothly. Great, so what's the problem? Well, for all this to work, the game has to save to SRAM every single frame, which means data is constantly being written to the flash chip on your EverDrive. With the EverDrive version 2 or older, or any clones or cheap flash carts, this can wear it out pretty quickly, as they use FRAM for saved games. For the X series, this procedure follows a different method, and upon asking Crix himself, he informs me that the X series of the EverDrive, and even version 3 of the EverDrive MD, will bring no harm. So, in conclusion, does Sonic 2 Time Attack work on real hardware? Yes. Just make sure you're using an updated, reliable flash cart. The wait is finally over, guys. You've all been wanting to see if Sonic 2 Recreation would work on the actual Sega Mega Drive. I put a lot of blood and sweat into creating this project. I wanted to bring new gimmicks and features never seen before in any other Sonic game. Whether that would be the advanced chaotic style monitor HUD, the music muffling effect when deep underwater, new crumbling terrains with switchable backgrounds, death to checkpoint returns copying the multiplayer technique, unique level select cheats specifically made for your save, exclusive badniks, objects, bosses, fully level planned platforms, it's all here, and after testing, it functions beautifully. I'm also ecstatic that the hard-to-find Easter eggs perform as they should. I won't lie that I had a lot of pride in this, but maybe I was so focused on bringing in the high tech that I let slip on the level layouts. I'm still delighted with it, but it does show that I put a lot of, as the community likes to dub it as, dick moves into the adventure. Also, silly mistakes like getting too good at my own game. I forgot to check that getting the game over takes you to the unusable 2-player menu. Whoops. The only real matter in my examination is with Eggman's voices, the Act 3 results jingle, and the Game Over tune. It appears quite distorted on the actual system due to it being a PCM track. You don't really hear that sort of dampening in other Sonic ROM hacks nowadays. Back then, I didn't know how to jump this hurdle, but now I still don't. But regardless, all other music sounds terrific, and that's what counts. I've had many fans ask me when Part 2 will come out, or if this game will ever be picked up again, and the sad truth is, I'm out of that business now. As much as I want to for old time's sake, I barely have the time with my busy lifestyle and for my love of making videos. But I will always look back at this as a great triumph and forever be grateful to a certain few members putting in their time and effort into helping me make this become a reality. Does Sonic 2 Recreation work on real hardware? Yes. Finally, but certainly not least, is Sonic Bash version 2. Personally, my favourite homemade Sonic hack. and as this is a multiplayer, I'm going to have to get my wife to help me bash this one. No, wait, no, that sounds wrong. Cutting to the matter at hand, you're immediately informed that this is not a single-player journey, and the friend must accompany you on your quest. Once you advance to the title screen, you can choose to view all the instructions that are required to understand the game. On the main menu, you together get to decide how many wins are needed to complete the course, and if you want to respawn after each death or end the round prematurely. From here and after each round, you get the in-game choices for which stage you would like to fight on, how long it'll last, whether you collide with each other, or to make the battle more intense. If you squabble over the possibilities, then the CPU will randomly pick for you. It's now time to beat the living daylights out of Dr. Eggman as you clash for the most hits on the scientist before time is up. Ending in a draw will force the game to wait for one more hit to indicate a champion. Of course, monitors are here to spice up the conflict, to either aid you in your victory or to handicap you in disastrous ways. After 10 hits? That's supposed to say wins, and so should that. I always leave some stupid blunder in my games. I digress. After 10 wins, the end results show and credits are played. My wife and I had a lot of fun regardless on which region we tried on. Remarkably, playing on the PAL variant illustrates the CRAM dots at all times in the bottom border. It never did this for my other 3 creations. I think it looks pretty cool in fact. But I'm swaying off topic now, and I think we can clear up any uncertainty. Does Sonic Bash version 2 work on real hardware? Yes! And there you have it, all 4 of my constructions accounted for. We may have not got the perfect run we hoped for, and we have that one that comes with a caution. But I can guarantee that no matter which version of the console you have, and the edition of EverDrive you possess, Sonic 2 Recreation and Sonic Bash will not disappoint you when it comes to playing it authentically.